What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be turning this beautiful yellow Trinidad 7-pot plant into this, a bonsai tree, or better known as a bonchi, for a chili plant. But essentially what I've done here is I've chopped this plant down pretty significantly. And I've got a cold evening coming up in a couple days, so I decided I'm gonna just have to ditch all the pods that were growing on here, which is kind of a shame, but it is what it is. I'll have it again next year to produce more pods for me. So that's what I'm gonna be doing here. So I'm gonna start by cutting off all of these pods. So I've taken all the pods that had started to turn yellow and I've gotten rid of them. So now what I'm gonna do is just start cutting this plant down pretty significantly. So it's kind of an interesting shaped plant due to where it was and the way the sun comes over. So should make a pretty interesting little bonsai tree. I can make finer adjustments later. But for now I'm just trying to get rid of the bulk. I'm just using some normal scissors. Someone will probably scream at me in the comments here if they watch it because it's not the right way to do it, but it seems to be working. So anyway, here we are. We're down to just the plant, or what's left of it, I guess. You can see it's got a nice woody stem. Should look pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead now and start digging around in the dirt a little bit, and we're just gonna move a lot of this soil back, dig out from underneath the plant just a little bit. It looks like it fell forward at some point during the season, causing it to get kind of this funny shape. And I've dug a couple of these plants out already, and the root system actually isn't quite what I expected it to be. I was a little disappointed. I'm hoping these guys survive. The plants I had in bags had excellent healthy root systems, and these have kind of just had a tight root ball right underneath the plant, and then a lot of just little feeders shooting off, but nothing major. So now that I've got this all pulled out here, I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to dig them down. I'm going to go a little wider than I'll actually need. And I actually broke these scissors doing this earlier, but they're still working well enough. My wife will kill me when she sees this video and finds out I broke the scissors, but that's all right. So, cut up all around. And now, kind of dig out underneath what I cut around even more. I'm gonna try to salvage as much of these roots as possible, so when I pull it out, I have more to work with, if that makes any sense. So, ooh, this one seems to be a little better off than the last couple of plants were. But we'll see once I get it out. So you kind of got to reach under here and kind of dig around and just break off any roots that you feel holding it in. And ooh, a worm. Oh no. Oh, he's gone. I'll get him later. But here we go. And here it comes. All right. So, yep, and here's Mr. Worm. Get him out this time. That's what you like to see in your garden. So here's the root ball. This one actually looks nice and healthy compared to the other ones. Not bad. So now I'm gonna go rinse that off and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got it all rinsed off and this is what I ended up with. Really a beautiful root system. It's gonna make a great bonsai. If you look at that, it's really nice. So what I'm doing for now, A lot of people like to put these things in nice bonsai pots, but I'm putting mine in cheap Tupperware, so I'm gonna go and grab that, and we'll start getting it put in there. All right, so I've got my Tupperware now. You can see I poked some holes in here. It kind of has a dual purpose. Be drainage and also a way for me to tie the plant down. So as you can see, the plant doesn't exactly fit at this point, which is fine. So we're gonna start trimming these roots down a little bit. So I'll switch sides here so the camera can see me as I do this, but basically I'm just gonna start trimming into these guys. And you can just compost the roots or whatever. I don't know what you do with them. So I guess I'll have to kind of decide how I want my plant to go in here, but I think I got a general idea. For now I'm just gonna, and my main thing is trimming them a little shallower. So make sure it doesn't sit up too high. But on the flip side, you also don't want it to sit too low. And when you tie it down, you can actually kind of snug it a little bit, so it's better to under trim on the bottom than to over trim. So as you can see, we're getting a little closer here. Just gotta trim these guys here and try to keep some of the little roots, but I'm getting pretty close. I'm gonna trim this big thing back a little further and some of these little teeny roots, and that looks like we're in business. So it fits pretty good. You can see there's still quite a bit of roots left for the plant to use. So time to start tying her down. So for tying the plant down, most people use wire. And that's probably the way you're supposed to do it. This is honestly my first season doing this, so I don't know if any of my plants are even gonna survive, but I'm using this twine stuff. It's kind of a more natural color. It almost kind of matches the roots, especially when it gets some dirt on it, so if it does get a little exposed, it's not super noticeable. So that's what I've used on my last couple of plants. So how this is gonna work, I'm gonna cut off a segment here, and I will actually feed both ends up through the bottom. Let's go, I'm gonna poke myself a new hole for this. Right there and right there. So we wanna go up through the bottom because we're gonna wanna have the knot on the inside, so that knot can be covered with soil. If it's on the bottom, it'll kind of throw it off balance. It won't sit flat very well. Not that it does anyway with all the holes poked in it, but it does help to have the knot on the inside. So I'm gonna drop the plant in here, bring these over, and we're just gonna tie a knot. Some kids playing next door. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. I'll actually be interested to see how the audio is. I might have to do some subtitles if it's not that good. I'm filming this on my GoPro, and you know, their microphones are okay. Just okay. Anyway, so you can see I've got that knot, and that's what's holding the roots in there. So now I'm gonna go over to the back side and do that again. Same idea, just on the other side now. So I'm gonna get me a string, cut that loose there, and feed it up through this hole, and I'll feed it up through this hole, you know, I'm gonna go up through this hole. You probably can't see this in the video, but that's all right. So, okay. String is up and through, so we are going to, what I'm gonna do is actually something kind of tricky here. I'm gonna do the knot over here, so just the strings going across the back of those roots, and we can hide the knot down under the soil as well. And I think I'm gonna do a couple more strings on the sides, but you get the gist. So we'll go ahead and get going on those other strings on the sides. All right, so now I've got the plant tied down. I ended up only doing one more string right here. It's a really good firm one though. You know, I can hold the plant clear upside down and it's really not going anywhere, so not bad. So now what I'm gonna do is, this soil in my bed here is actually really awesome soil. Here locally there's you know, the local waste facility does its own compost, which, you know, you got to be kind of careful with those, but the one here is just incredible. It's kind of renowned around here, and there's tons and tons of gardeners in this area, so you can really trust it. Just word of mouth is how I heard about it, and it's really good stuff. So I probably could find a better medium. This at the beginning of the season was about 50% topsoil, 30% compost, and I think about 20% peat moss, but I don't remember exactly their proportions. But it's pretty light, it drains really good, so I'm just going to use this for now, and I'm just going to kind of fill this in. And this one's kind of tricky because it's leaning way back, so I'm going to have to sprinkle dirt in carefully there. And you know, like anything, you don't want to pack the dirt in, from what I understand, but I do want to get as much as I can in here because I know it will settle, so you will see me kind of packing it down just a little bit. And you know, if I'm a terrible person for doing that, let me know down in the comments. I'm learning, hopefully you're learning, so we'll just learn this together, I suppose. So now that I've kind of filled it in here, there's still a lot of holes down in the roots that I'm just trying to fill in. So, and again, some people will tell me I'm crazy for doing that, but I just want to make sure there's plenty of soil to get me through the winter. And I do plan on feeding these pretty heavily, so although the medium may not be the best, they should be pretty well nourished plants, assuming they survive this. So I'm going to try to keep some of these roots exposed just to kind of look cool. Not that I'm really doing this for looks, since I'm in these cheapo containers. I might put a couple, if they start looking really nice, I might put a couple into nice bonsai pots, but for now I'm just gonna have these cheap containers. So here's the finished product, at least for now, and I'll be posting more videos of updates of all my Bonchis. I'm taking all the best of my varieties. This was a super good yellow 7-pot strain. This was an excellent Carolina Reaper, so I decided to make it into a bonsai. That one's going to be pretty cool if it makes it for me. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments or leave me a comment. Let me know what I could have done better, and have a good one.